Fun Facts presents the 1948 through 1955 Porsche 356. It is a classic 40s, 50s classic car. It was introduced in 1948 and the 356 ran through 1955. Then it was the 356A and then the B and the C, and we'll cover all of those in future videos. I am excited. I used to own a 1953 and I sold it and I'm hating myself ever since. But let's get started. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. So let's get started now. While I'm reading this article in the Wikipedia and I get to one of the last sentences, it says that the 53 to 55, the Continental, is a highly valued car. And I once upon a time had a 1953 Continental and I just kicked myself over the years for selling it. I wish to God I never had. It was one that I should have kept, and that's one of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. Oh well. Okay, prior to World War II, Porsche designed and built 3 Type 64 cars for a 1939 Berlin to Rome race that was canceled. In 1948, the mid-engine tubular chassis 356 prototype called Number 1 was completed. The lead to some debate as to the first Porsche automobile, although the original Porsche 356 unit had a rear mid-engine placement. The rear engine 356 is considered by Porsche to be its first production model. The 356 was created by Ferdinand Ferry Porsche, son of Ferdinand Porsche, founder of the German company, who founded the Austrian company with his sister Louise. Like its cousin, the Volkswagen Beetle, which Ferdinand Porsche Sr. had designed, the 356 is a 4-cylinder air-cooled rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car with utilized pan and body construction. The chassis was a completely new design and was the 356 body designed by Porsche employee Erwin Komenda. At the same time, certain mechanical components, including the engine case and some suspension components, were based on and initially sourced from Volkswagen. Ferry Porsche described the thinking behind the development of the 356 in an interview with the editor of Panorama, the PCA magazine, in September of 1972. He had always driven very speedy cars. I had an Alfa Romeo, also a BMW, and others. By the end of the war, I had a Volkswagen Cabriolet with a supercharged engine. That was the basic idea. I saw that if you had enough power in a small car, it's nicer to drive than if you have a big car with also overpowered. And it is more fun. On the basic idea, we started the first Porsche prototype to make the car lighter, to have an engine with more horsepower. That was the first 2-seater that we built in Carinthia. The first 356 rode certified in Austria on June 8, 1948, and was entered into a race in Innsbruck, where it won its class. Porsche re-engineered and refined the car with a focus on performance. Volkswagen and Porsche shared fewer parts as the 1950s progressed. Porsche handcrafted the early 356 automobile bodies at Gummend in aluminum, but with production moved to Germany in 1950, models produced there were steel-bodied. The aluminum-bodied cars from the very small company are what are now referred to as prototypes. Porsche contracted Reuter to build the steel bodies and eventually bought the Reuter Company in 1963. The Reuter Company retained the seat manufacturing part and business and changed its name to Recaro. Little noticed as its inception, mostly by a small number of auto racing enthusiasts, the first 356 sold primarily in Austria and Germany. It took Porsche 2 years, starting with the first prototype in 1948, to manufacture the first 50 automobiles. By the early 1950s, the 356 had gained some renown among enthusiasts on both sides of the Atlantic for its aerodynamics, handling, excellent build quality. The class win at Le Mans in 1951 was a factor. It was common for owners to race the car as well as drive them on the streets. They introduced the 4-cam racing Carrera engine, a totally new design and unique to Porsche sports cars. In late 1954, increasing success with its racing and road cars brought Porsche orders for over 10,000 units in 1964, and by the time 356 production ended in 1965, approximately 76,000 had been produced. The 356 was built in 4 distinct series: the original Pre-A, followed by the 356A, the 356B, and finally the 356C. To distinguish among the major revisions of the models, 356s are generally classified into a few major groups. The 356 Coupes and Cabriolets, built in 1955, are readily identifiable by their split or bent windscreens. In late 55, the 356A appeared with a curved windshield. The A was the first road-going Porsche to offer the Carrera 4-cam engine as an option. In late 1959, the T5 356B appeared, followed by the redesigned T6 series, the 356B, in 1962. The final version was the 356C. Little changed from the late T6B cars, but disc brakes replaced the drums. Prior to the completion of 356 production, Porsche had developed a higher revving 616-36 version of the 356 4-cylinder pushrod engine for installation in a new 912 model that commenced production in April of 1965. Although the 912 used numerous 356 components, Porsche did not intend for the 912 to replace the 356. When the decision was made to replace the 356, the 901, later called the 911, was the road car designed to carry the Porsche name forward. The 912 was developed as a standard version of the 911 at the $17,500 DM price of a 356 1600 SC. While the complex but faster and heavier 6-cylinder 911 was priced more than 50% higher, customers purchased nearly 33,000 of the 912 Coupes and Targas powered by the Type 616 engine that had served Porsche so well during the 356 era. From the earliest 1,100cc beginnings, the overall shape of the 356 remained more or less set. In 1951, 1,300 and 1,500cc engines were considerably more power and were introduced. In April of 52, the split windscreen was replaced by a slightly V-shaped single windshield, which fit into the same shape opening. In 1953, the 1300S or Super was introduced with a 1,100cc engine was dropped. In late 1954, Max Hoffman, the sole U.S. importer of Porsches, convinced Porsche to build a stripped-down roadster version with minimal equipment and cut-down windscreen. Towards the end of the original 356 time, In 1955, when the 356A was about to be introduced, Hoffman wanted a model name rather than just a number and got the factory to use the name Continental, which was applied mostly to cars sold in the United States. Ford makers of the Lincoln Continental sued. This name was used only in 1955, and today the version is especially valued. For the 1956, the equivalent version was briefly sold as the European. Today, all the earliest Porsches are highly coveted by collectors enthusiasts worldwide, based on their design, reliability, and sporting performance. Okay, well, if you found yourself this far into the video, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch our video. If you like our video, please give us a thumbs up. It really does help our channel. And if you like our channel, please subscribe, because we're going to be doing all of the sports cars in the 50s, the 60s. We'll be doing the muscle cars, the supercars, the hybrid cars. We'll be doing custom car shows, autoramas, hot rods, a little bit of everything for everybody. So again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch our video. We hope to see you when we upload our next video. And always, always, always take good care. Thank you very much.